Choose whatever way you choose, but worship Allah. And strive in that manner as is in a race. We all are going to end up, we come in here knowing nothing, and we're going to leave knowing nothing but one thing. There is no God but God, as we refer to as Allah. So Umar and I just really got along because our hearts were drawn together, because I saw a brother that was sincere about the condition of his people. And I chose another path at that time, but I thought that my ultimate aim was also looking at the condition of my people. As I would think anyone here who became Muslim, or whether you didn't become Muslim, if you're in this room now or whatever, you have thought about your condition and the condition of your people, and why things are the way they are, and where you're at this particular time. Now, I want to start out by saying that I don't want to get in, I want to let it be known, I'm not an expert on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm not trying to claim that. I'm not trying to claim that I know all there is to know about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But I was affected just like anyone else was affected by what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad presented. Whatever particular aspect of Islam you were following. And over the years, I've had an opportunity to transcend my consciousness, because if I stayed where I was when I first started out, then I'll stay as a child. I'm not trying to be a child. I'm trying to learn to be an adult believer who has a bigger understanding of what is really going on with being Muslim. So you begin to look at things a little bit different. As Imam Umar spoke about a person that was one of my teachers, Sheikh Yahya Abdul Kareem, who just recently passed away, Allah have mercy on his soul. He always said knowledge changes based on the change of conditions and circumstances. And all the lessons I ever had with Sheikh Yahya, that's the one thing I will always remember, because it is true. I don't care, it's a true statement. And it is the law. Conditions, circumstances change. You have a cause, you have an effect. You have to choose, you have to make choices every day. You made a choice when you came in here today, which route you were going to travel to get to this mosque. Now your route wasn't the same as my route. I came down I-10. But even if you came down I-10, which lane were you in? So we all make certain decisions as to what we're going to do. It's not the same decision, but we all are doing what? We're making movement, and we're heading in some direction. See? Now, I could pull up in here, because Umar and I were talking last time about this, understanding Tallahassee, same thing. We have this, what they're claiming, gang issue. This gang thing has started up again. There's some truth to it, but also we need to understand what perpetuates it. But I was looking at the sign out here, and I don't know if any of you have seen it, just part of the paragraph that hit me was this. And I want to use this as an opening statement. It says, once we identify that inner substance that makes us who we are. Stop now and think about that. That inner substance that makes us who we are. Once we have restored our true selves, we will be characterized by our commitment to maximize our individual and collective survival. Heavy statement. Now, I have an issue with survival, because my take is that we need to get out of survival mode. Because as long as we remain in survival mode, you will not be able to be creative. Because all you'll be doing is worrying about surviving. We got to get past surviving. and get into a level of consciousness where it is said in the Bible, in the Quran, that God will provide you abundance. He wants you to have heaven. Not wait on it, get it now. The Prophet Muhammad, he said, get your dunya right now. You don't have to wait to get the dunya. Meaning, you don't have to wait to get those things which you desire. But the issue is with our people, and many people, what is it that you want? What do you want? I ask myself the question every day. When I first became Muslim, what is it that you want? How do you see yourself as a Muslim? Your practice, your opinions, your ideas, your thoughts, your aspirations. How do you see yourself? And it's the way you see yourself, is it in line with what Almighty God Allah has prescribed and destined for you as a human being and as a people? Now, if you're not in line with that, most of us think we're in line. Most groups think they're in line. I don't think you can be in line when you have so much controversy going on amongst groups. When you have so much controversy going on amongst people. And we still in the same degraded state. I don't understand it. So I ask myself the question, what's going on? And I'm not saying I'll come up with an answer, but when somebody asked me to come over here, I started thinking about it. And I said, he asked me what I wanted to talk on. And I had been reading some things and thinking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and just, you know, I've had some experiences. I went to Africa, I went to Ghana some years ago, and I ran into brother Akbar Muhammad. For those who don't know him, Akbar Muhammad happens to be the really right-hand man of Minister Louis Farrakhan. I went over to Ghana. We went over on a trip to fact-finding in Ghana. They were having a conference on how to do business in Africa. And a group from Cleveland that I was involved with, we went. And I met him because he was living in Ghana. And he just, took us in, took us around to show us Ghana, Accra. We were in the capital. Took us up to the slave dungeon. And, that was an experience. I'm not going to attempt to try to describe it to you, explain it to you. You have to go for yourself. Because if people say we have a recessive gene, meaning that we have certain things in our memory that we can't forget. Right. One thing we can't forget is the fact we were slaves. Right. So when you enter this place, when we entered it, they want you to go down the slave dungeon, and you had people that couldn't even move to go. Many of the women cried, they couldn't even go. They didn't even know what overcame them. Tears and just, anguish and whatnot. And when you get in a place, how many people here have had a chance to go to Africa? Anybody? Yes. It's not what people tell you it is. Some of it, they don't really want you to go to Africa. Would you assess that? Do you think that? You think that most people don't want you to go to Africa? They don't want you to go to Africa, meaning government don't want you to go to Africa, but everybody in Africa ain't. I mean, they tell you about the situation with Darfur. Do you know that Darfur is as big or bigger than California? Yes, sir. Hey, you look at the map, they show you on the television, that little place called man, that place is bigger than California. And it's in a place that's the biggest country in Africa, which is the Sudan. So this is not a little problem. It's a very broad problem. And we can think of our communities, because mostly what happens to us is endemic to Africa. And what is happening in Africa is endemic to us. Are they killing in Africa? Yes, they are. Are Africans killing each other? Yes, they are. Do we have the largest amount of disease and sickness? Where is it? Africa. Yes, sir. Who has the largest amount of disease and sickness in America? African Americans. Black folk. Who don't even make up 50% of the population. But we're the sickest, the most problematic people in America. And now we're no longer the largest minority in this country. Hispanics took that over. Do you think that they care? No, they do not. Next is the Asians. Then we'll be third. Then we'll be fourth. Then we'll be on the bottom. As Aliyy Muhammad said, we'll be the bottom rail. But how often has the bottom rose to the top? So what's going to reverse this consciousness? What's going to reverse us moving down, spiraling down? I went up into this dungeon, which was probably a little smaller than this room, and the ceiling level was probably smaller. It was about like this, so it made you feel very small. But all across the wall, it was just dirt wall, and it had a little slit up there about like that, and a slit over there on that side like that, where they throw water in. And you chain all the way around. It's like all of us chained to this wall. So everything you're doing, as you know, you're doing right there. And then as they walk you out, you're in there for 12 to 16 weeks that you're there sitting down chained up. I'm just taking you back now to make you remember. I ain't trying to make you feel bad. I'm just telling you. And then as they walk you out, they had the women up top in a room about this big. So as the women walk out that door, they walk out that door, and then the men meet. You meet. So that'd be the first time maybe I've seen her in 16 weeks, if she's a relative or whatever. And then you got the the gate of no return, meaning once you cross that, you are not coming back here. Put you in some boats, take you out, put you on a ship, and you go where you need to go. Now, why I say that? Because the issue is, I'm going to tell you about the mentality of the people that I met in Africa. The mentality of them towards slavery, they don't think about it like we do. They don't have the same emotional feeling about it. It was just, in their history, something that happened. So you'd be wondering, why can't they relate to, they just say, well, we lost some resources, or we gave it up. So there's various reasons why many people became slaves, as we know. But one thing I will say about many of them, they'd be happy to see you come back. You know, I had a gorgeous time there. But again, going back to the same idea, transcending consciousness. Transcending consciousness. Do we really want to transcend our consciousness where we are right now? That's the point I'm making. Now, this topic, Aliyy Muhammad, master negotiator of self-consciousness. And as I was driving down there even last night, because I couldn't even sleep last night, you know, I've been reading and thinking about my own personal experiences. Because many of my closest friends were people that were in the nation. So we always talk, see? And I'm relating, they're relating. And I'm getting my experiences, they relate their experiences. And so I'm not going to sit here and try to say I'm an expert on Aliyy Muhammad. But I will say that what I've looked at back then when I first became Muslim. I became Muslim in 1969. So I've been Muslim for quite a long time. And went through transformations and began to really respect what Aliyy Muhammad brought. You can disagree with some of his theology. You can disagree with this. You can disagree with many things with regards to Aliyy Muhammad. Remember now, one thing that always stuck with me, even when I became Muslim and started, you know, I would listen to his talks. I said, man, I didn't come to bring religion. And that's not what I came to do. We tend to forget that he said that's not what he tended to do. But he used a religious vehicle to address what he thought was the particular sicknesses with his people. And he used Islam. And he said the reason why was what? Because Islam had not been tampered with. The Quran had not been tampered with. The Bible had been tampered with. So we had to come in and we had to correct that. So he used that vehicle. But he did not say, he said, somebody else will come along and teach the religion. My take on that today is we got too much religion. We even got too much Islam religion. We got religion, but we don't have Islam. Now, if you can follow me now, we got religion, but we don't have Islam now. Islam means peace, but Islam also is Islam means peace. Being a Muslim brings activity to what is supposed to be Islam. A Muslim is supposed to be one that is supposed to be actively involved in moving forward, developing, creating, procreating with the permission of Allah. Allah says he has made this earth a utility for you. So the man come along and the man said you are God. They ain't tell you walk around like you haughty because you don't see God haughty. It's just a natural thing that God can create. That he can create, he can make things manifest. And that is also why it says, Allah says the Muslim believes in the seen and they believe in the unseen. What is the unseen other than that something that you ain't seen yet? That's all it is, right? It's not a spooky thing, it's not a mystical thing. Mama has you in the womb for 9 months. You're not seen, but the reality is you're unseen at that time, but everybody know, based on her shape, based on what's going on, something is getting ready to happen. And then when you come out, you're seen. But it starts before that. It starts internally with when man and woman hook up, as we know what goes on. And then you have all these millions of spermos, and each of them is fighting for a position to be chosen as the one who will become seen. And then when they get to that point, it says when they get ready to come out, what it say? They say that when they figure out that the one that's gonna make it, do they try to kill the one? They don't try to kill the one, all them try to push the one to be the one. So, this person, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, yes, honorable. Why not honorable? It takes a lot to, when you just stop for a minute and think about what this man took on. The conditions and, remember what I said about conditions and circumstances. Look at the conditions and circumstances that he had to deal with. First, he had to deal with white racism. He had to deal with, as Claude Anderson speaks about, this meritorious law. People created a law, then you come, Willie Lynch wasn't even the one. Willie Lynch came much later. Stuff was going on way before Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch is just like Einstein. You got Einstein. Yeah, there's some people that came after Einstein. There's some people that disagree with Einstein, but Einstein did establish his one theory of relativity. Then you had a man named Planck came afterwards who established the divine matrix theory. I'm going to talk about that to show you the parallel with regards to consciousness. I am concentrating on what I told you, transcending consciousness. I'm talking about consciousness in the context of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did and in the context of what is going on with us right now. And when we leave here, the question that I want you to put before yourself when you walk out that door, how conscious am I really? See, let me veer off just for a second. I meet Muslims that I've known for years. Good brothers, good sisters. The first thing another Muslim meets you, Salaam alaikum wa barakatuhu, one and further, we want to go into these all lengthy, things. That's okay. Everybody trying to get some blessings, right? We are majoring in the mind. People want to tell you, brother, you ain't pointing your finger right. Why are you making prayer like this? Why are you folding your hands? Why do you have your hands down to the side? Brother, you're not genuflexing right. If you see me pray right now, as bad as my knees are, most brothers, especially our brothers from overseas, they see me make prayer, they say, oh, he must be a new Muslim. he ain't got his butt back on his heel. He don't look like he's been doing this thing very long. I have a condition, okay? And I'm saying that to say that that is a particular attitude that is prevalent with us, period, when it comes to other people and us regarding Islam. They take it as we do not know what we're doing, that we don't have any knowledge. Either you don't know the language, your Arabic is not very good, Lughat Arabiya is not very good. Huh? See, some of us, for us, we struggle with English.
That's right.
I mean, period, come on now. I mean, just we struggle with speaking English language.
Yes, sir. Some words can't say them.
Or even understanding the construct. But if you look at going back to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, here you in a situation where originally you had lost your religion, you had no knowledge of your God, your culture. These are profound statements for a man to be making in the 1930s. But we're talking 1930s now. Now we're here in 2007. And are we not still having problems with the same thing? Same thing, right? In the schools, kids not knowing their history, their true history. Having problems with that, the language. The young people today, they created their own language, which is the same way we did. So it's developing alternatives and so that you can function and operate. Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was attempting to give us a path of consciousness that we can begin to operate, and so that we can discard all of this garbage that we have been given that put us down. Now, we all know this. We know this. But in terms of recognizing it from the standpoint of what it really is and was, is another thing. I got this book. I don't know how many of you have read or seen the book. It's called The Original Man, Elijah Muhammad. Anybody? This guy's a professor at one of these colleges. Wrote this book. Got a lot of flack for the book. But he was stating in the book, he was giving a history of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And something that I didn't know, he was talking about how the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he went to make Umrah, which is a little below the actual Hajj. Then he went to Cairo, Egypt, and met with Abdul Nasser, who at that time was president of Egypt. And Nasser tried to get the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to stay in Africa or come back to Africa and educate the Africans. And he told him he didn't want to do that because that wasn't his mission. So his mission was to deal with this black man in America. That's his mission. And he's going to stay to his mission. He offered him a mansion. Showed him the mansion. It had already been built. He said, now if you don't like that, I'll build you another. And that got me. I said, man, you think about it now, most of us, what would we have done? We'd have took the mansion. We'd have been living in Cairo.
Yeah, bro. Living like a king.
Living like a king.
That's right.
Say where Ahmed left. He got off the line. he in Cairo Egypt.
Living like a king.
Living like a king. He said he right here every now and then. See a little postcard. See some palm trees and the pyramids. So for real that he actually is over there, huh? But I'm saying that's how serious this man was about his mission for his people. And everybody knew it at that time. Anybody that came into the Nation of Islam knew it at that time. And that was the same attitude that most people took who were in the nation. Some people would say that it was too strict. Well, that's what was needed at the time. But let me tell you something, personally. And I've been an Imam for a long time. I was in a movement that was a pretty militant movement. And so you was a soldier 24/7, not when you felt like it.
Right, bro.
Not when you felt like it. You was always a soldier. And you were always, the understanding you was trying to create what we thought we were trying to create a Dar al-Islam. A Dar means abode of peace. We were trying to create a society, and we felt that we had a caliph. Yahya was the caliph. And you had the soldiers. We had a judicial system. And you would get punished. Now, I mean, that was the reality of it. Now, the other Muslims, our brothers, again, felt like, well, you know, brother, you don't need to do that. Yes, we do. We're in America. You make choices for how you live and practice Islam in your country. We make choices of how we live and practice Islam in our country. And we have to not arrogantly tell anybody that, but we got to get back to that.
Yes, sir.
You can't tell me how I'm supposed to practice Islam on Pearl Street. You ain't on Pearl Street. Now, if you come down and you get a shop on Pearl Street, you get a home on Pearl Street, then you're part of the community and we can talk about what we want to do on Pearl Street. But until you bring your behind down here on Pearl Street, you don't tell me how to practice Islam on Pearl Street. It just ain't happening. You don't know the conditions and circumstances of Pearl Street. And so this is what happens over here in this country. I'm going to veer a little bit. I'm going to be going back and forth. Islam in this country, even with the Nation of Islam, do you know most of the literature that Muslims read outside of what they were taught was basically from Hindu Pakistan literature, because they speak English and they were colonialized by the British. That's where you got most of your so-called knowledge of Islam from. And basically with them, they were fighting against colonialism, so they fight the white man. So what is their opinion? Their opinion is going to be basically what they have knowledge of and what they were educated and taught. Wrong or right? So then here comes one of your own trying to educate you and teach you, and he becomes something other than, you know, they're going to create that he's something other than what he is. Was Prophet Muhammad able to read or write? No, he was illiterate, wasn't he?
Yes, sir.
So they say. Was Elijah Muhammad educated in a formal way? No, he wasn't. Where is he from? Down south. Georgia. Father Divine, Hurley. Do you know the majority of ministers who had an effect, Christianity-wise, were from Georgia? That was like to me, and I look at it as like a fertile crescent. I don't know what they was drinking down there. I don't know what was going on. But one thing about it, you know, the people knew the Bible.
Right, bro.
It raised up in the church. You don't play that down south now. That's why the South is such a hard nut to crack when it comes to bringing Islam down south. But you better come, you better know something about this Bible. They do not call the Bible belt for nothing. If you think people just going to accept Islam just based on you saying the Quran and Muhammad, it ain't happening. You better know something about Bible. You better be able to make some connections. And this is what Elijah did. And in my opinion, Elijah Muhammad and the Muslims that followed him, and in particular, Minister Farrakhan at this stage, has changed the perspective of the black church. The black church, in my opinion, now, I ain't trying to convince nobody nothing. Now, that's the other thing I want to tell you. I ain't coming out to convince anybody anything. That's not why I'm here. I'm just sharing. But I think he's changed. If you ever read Willie Wilson's book, who is a friend of the minister,
Go ahead.
who is big on the diaspora, the Africa. I mean, the whole thing about the church, man, has changed. I mean, it used to be brimstone, etc. Now everybody want to preach prosperity. You know, we got to get money. You know, talking about you as an individual, expanding yourself. Now, let me share this. Since I'm on that point, Prophet Muhammad, in the Quran, the first thing that he got It was read. Iqra. Read. Can everybody see this? I hope so.
You'll see when you.
You'll see when I move.
Yes, sir. Don't stop me.
Eqra, read. Bismi Rabbika. Aliyy khalaq. Read in the name of your Lord, who created you from a clot of congealed blood. Now, recognize essential avenues of self-development. You need to recognize which way you need to go to develop yourself. This is what a lot of men, when he was talking about reading, he wasn't just talking about ABC, or as we say, they say in Arabic, now, you know, ABC, Africa, to the even Africa. Now he knew this, but when did he tell it? It ain't been known, but what, about 15 years, brother? 20 years? But a man comes along talking about you original man, original woman. You're a black man, you're a black woman, you're Asiatic. Comes along, uses certain ideas to get you to start thinking broader. Just kind of put some fuel in you, some punch in you, huh? But a lot of people weren't willing to accept it. And now here we are, it's coming to fruition that what the man said, much of what he said was correct. It wasn't exact, but it was correct. I mean, there's a fuel in the universe called a tachyon. I heard this years ago with a brother named Imam. He used to teach Malcolm's children. He went to Al-Azhar University, studied Arabic, fluent in Arabic, but he was a scientist. He loved science. This man was bright. Created a community in Harlem, New York. He was giving a clip out one day, and he was telling us brothers, he said, man, you know, there's a energy in the universe called a tachyon that moves thousands of miles faster than the speed of light. We couldn't even get to it, brother. I go outside and sit down. I'm telling you now. There are things going on in this universe, but we are not just participants. We are participants. We're involved. We're not separated from all this that goes on. That's what I'm trying to get at with you. That's what I'm saying about Elijah. You know, he jumps up, he puts figures to stuff. You're 6.6 trillion miles away from whatever. You know, the planets of this. I mean, just giving you all kind of scenarios, give you a problem, but what? To jog your memory. To jog that recessive memory that you had because you were scientists.
Right.
You built great civilizations.
Yes, right.
And they were built based on mathematics.
Yes, right.
And if Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam, then it can be proven at any point in time. That's what we're talking about. Come on now. So why is it now that our children are running away from math? They run away from science. They're deficient in math, science, and the other one is reading. Any teachers in here? That's exactly what's going on. Is that not what's going on? You got kids can't even read. They can't read. They can't recognize the essential avenues of self-development for themselves. And then after reading, are you a reading teacher? There you go. So you got reading, then you got comprehension. Is that not right? What's next? Vocabulary, what else? You got to be able to read, even get to them other things, right? Come on, man. And the first thing given to Prophet Muhammad was what? Read in the name of your Lord, most gracious, most merciful. Read, fool. He didn't say fool, I'm saying. This is, I'm telling you, started looking at this thing with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I said, you know, here I am. I done got myself in a pickle. I said, I'm going to come down here, talk about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The people that probably know way more about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad than I do. And they experts, I'm not. But I said, no, I'm going to put another spin on it. So I'm going to try to make some correlations. I'm going to try to connect this thing to show how powerful he was. Many of us didn't recognize him. Many of them didn't recognize who were in the nation. Because sometimes you're in something and it's moving it's moving so fast. The earth, how fast does the earth move? Anybody know? How fast does it move? It moves now, don't it? There you go. If it stops 1 iota, they're going to change some stuff up. I saw a Superman movie, one of them old reprieves in it the other night. He gets mad because Lois is dead, so he decides he is going to change time. He spins around one way, gets to the point where she was alive, turns around, he goes back the other way. Believe that or not. Believe it or not. It's a movie, right? There's no truth to it, right? Superman can't fly, right? But we got satellites, right? Man has gone to the moon, right? Man is landing on Mars, right? Huh? Or Pluto, which one? Which one? Huh? Do we believe any of that? I mean, really? Because we're not there. The Quran says the best witnessing is the witnessing with your own 2 or 1 eye. That's the best witnessing you got now. You wasn't there when Muhammad was around. And many of you weren't here when Elijah was alive. How many were here when Elijah Muhammad was alive? Did it change your life? What struck you? What was it that hit your heart and made you say, whoa, I gotta get on, I gotta go with this? Huh? At the time when most of you came from a background of Christian families. Still is. Still got Christian families. So you still got that. So the thing about it is that Allah blessed us to raise us up and gave us 2 religions. That's why we were so bad. We no longer had 1 idea, we had 2. And coupled with that Quran, oh, we wear them out. And not talking bad about Christianity. Allah says in Quran, he said the closest to you of the people of the book are who? The Christians. It makes sense for a black man in America because most of his people are Christian. They ain't letting you in Judaism. They done got just like the Arabs. See, it is religion. Sorry. Sorry, that's just how I feel about it. I mean, he moved to the point, he think that this is his religion. Islam is his religion. Where he get off thinking Islam is his religion? He fought the prophet. Tried to kill him. And then them same guys turn around and say, well, we ain't got no choice. We'll go ahead and become Muslim. But what we're going to do is we're going to subvert it from the inside. And so the prophet said, after 3 generations, you won't even recognize this thing. Now you tell me, is it the same as it was when he was around? I'm not talking about the basic fundamental principle. I'm talking about the spirit of the religion. Is it the same as it was when he was here?
No, sir.
Why do people think Muslims are so violent? Don't think they believe in Jesus. Y'all violent. Christianity was violent. When that same devil got a hold of it, he got a hold of it and brought you here on the ship Jesus, and plopped you down on this planet and on this North America and made you a slave in the name of Jesus. So what are you talking about? The Jews do not like you. They think any one of the Christians you are dirty people. They don't even accept Jesus as their prophet. They're still waiting on their Messiah. Now, if I'm wrong, tell me. I'll go ahead and pack my bags, head on back to Tallahassee, car outside.
Right.
I was in New York, they was talking about Christians. Bad. But yet still, you see black people today. If you mention Muslim, they hate you. but love the Jew. Now, will you please explain that to me? And you ain't even dealing with the true tribe. You had 12. And when the black Jew came to Israel, they dogged him right now. The Fulashes. Dogged them out. Couldn't even speak their language. Couldn't understand it. Couldn't their brother. They started talking that true Hebrew. Oh, well, we don't know what he's saying. You understand? So, I ain't going to let him filter that stuff out here. We got to get rid of it. Come on, let's be real now. Is racism real in the world? Is it real? Racism is like rain. Get in a cloud, it's just waiting to find some place to drop. Racism real.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So we sit around and talk about down Elijah Muhammad and what he brought, and it was ineffective? If it was so ineffective, why is it that the minister could bring it back? Not all of it, but why isn't it he can bring it back? And let me ask you this question. Why is it so attractive to young black people?
Come on, brother. Come on now.
Most of the people I see practicing so-called, quote-unquote, Orthodox Islam, they ain't nothing but gray beards. We're the young people. We're the institutions. Don't get me wrong now, there are problems over there too. But where are our institutions? Where are our mosques where people ride down the street and say, woo, gosh, who developed that? Huh? Who developed that? Where's somebody gonna walk around and see a community and everybody in there Muslim? Look at the houses. Ain't no dirt. Ain't no cars all up in the driveway sitting on one foot leg. You understand? They're standing out there with a t-shirt on, pants all down there. Talking about your dog. I mean, think about it.
Come on, brother.
We gotta get them pictures out of our head. You got to get that man out your head. He up in your head in the worst of ways. He ain't the enemy, you are. It's you. It's you. It's you. Ain't nobody but you. When you gonna deal with the enemy within? You sleep with him every night. You eat with him every day. You laugh with him every day. You know, same thing make you laugh, make you cry. Same thing make you cry, make you laugh. Huh? Come on, man. What are we talking about? We talking about personal mastery here. Y'all tired?
No, sir. No, sir.
Well, if y'all let me know now, I can get in the car.
No, sir.
There's a story. Let's change a little bit. There's a story about a blind man and a crippled man, and both of them lost in the forest. The blind man falls over the crippled man. He said, man, I've been in this forest and I cannot find my way out. And the crippled man, of course, he said, yeah, I can't walk out of here. He said, well, I got an idea. You put me on your back, which means the man that can see, who's the crippled man, get on the shoulders of the blind man, and they walked up on out of here. Now, soon them book the moon them up. Deaf, dumb, and blind.
Bruh.
Huh? If you're deaf and you're dumb and you're blind, if you're crippled and you're blind, you better find somebody. If you're blind, you better find somebody that can walk, that can see. And if you're crippled, then of course, you know, whatever. You better find it. That's what we need. We need to assist one another. And the only way that that's going to happen is everybody has to begin to submerge and eliminate their ego. That is the devil that ruins everything for us. And not just us, anybody that attempts to do something. If you know, you're in business, for those who are businessmen, you hear all the time, you hear people say, wow, man, black folk, the way we do business, we can't get along, we'll never be successful. And see how the white man, he always seems to be able to get rid of that type of thinking, please. Stop saying that. Because as long as you continue to say it, that's the way it will be. Negative. You will put that in your mind, and then the only thing, and then you wonder, you say, I just can't never get out of debt. Well,
You'll never get out.
you will never get out of debt. We will never be able to do business together. You will never be able to do business together. I'll never be able to do this. I'll never be able to do that. You will not. So the thing of it is that finding a way to basically assist one another. There's a concept that whatever you want to do in your life, if you wrote down what it is that you want to do in your life, being whether you want to get yourself together physically, so you want to work out. Maybe you want to go get an education. Maybe you want to buy a home. You want to conduct business and have a successful business. But you don't have those particular skills to do that. So you go and you create you a team that is your personal team to help you accomplish what you need to accomplish. If you can't pay for it, maybe you'll find somebody in the community that has a knowledge of creating business plans, or someone who is into working out and could be somewhat of a personal trainer to you if you can't pay. Or if you want to learn more of the Quran, or whatever it is that you think in your spiritual life, in your economic life, or whatever, then get you a team of people that can help you succeed. Because the issue right now with Muslims, there's many issues, but one of the main ones I see, and I'm talking to myself as well as talking to you. We may be good. We may think we good, but we not great. See, it's time to move to be great. That's what Allahu Akbar is. Greatness. When Allah says, "Wala dhikrullahu akbar," when you think on God, who is the greatest thing to think on, you can't think on anything better than thinking on God. And it is said that if you know God, you know yourself. And if you know yourself, you know God. And so now we back to what? Now, Elijah Mama said you need to know yourself. Know yourself. Know yourself, know your kind, respect your kind. Is that not right, sister? And what he said? Because if you don't start with self first, you can't help nobody else. Charity, as the old saying goes, starts what? It starts at home. With yourself. Taking care of yourself. For example, they just had this thing where one of King's daughters died. Is that not correct? Then we know of the sickness of the minister over the years. And we know that for us black men, cancer, prostate cancer is an issue. But still, even today, I have friends of mine and myself, guys don't want to go to the doctor. We don't want to go get a regular checkup. You can't do that in this day and time. I got one June 17th. I'm so happy. I'll be glad going to my doctor. I got to But what I'm saying is, I was no better, no different. You slack. What you think, you Superman or somebody? You got to go to the doctor. That's also a part of creating a team that helps you be the best you can be. Because when Allah calls you back, it won't matter. But look, He didn't tell you to be a fool. Take care of yourself. Look after yourself. Rely on yourself. Trust in yourself. Get knowledge for yourself. Do things that benefit yourself. Find somebody that loves you for yourself. Not because you got a Benz or you living in a $1 million home. Or go get a green card. but for your real self. Now, Umar and his sister, they've been married for a long time. I got, you know, sometimes they let me come to visit them at their house. Well, it can't be money. Can't be a whole lot of things. But one thing is certain, and that's what I felt in Africa. They are family. They love each other. That don't mean that they don't argue, fuss, and fight. I ain't never seen them though. So they keep that away from my bed. I don't know. But what I'm saying is there's love there. Umar and them been doing this for a long time. And what I'm saying is that, listen, people need to recognize that it happens in Tallahassee, it happens all over the country, for now with Muslims. We have become so into just being exclusive. You don't come to my mosque, or you're not with my leader, I don't have anything to do with you. How can you be a Muslim like that? Allah says in the Quran, Allah tells you, He said we supposed to be brothers. You supposed to want for your brother what you want for yourself. When I was coming up with Muslim brothers, used to take that to the extreme. You understand? It seemed extreme, but it got the message across. That brother might see me with this suit, right? I'm telling you the truth. Allah. I was in a movement, brother seen this suit, said, man, that's tight. That looks nice. Or let's say the coupe. Man, I wear on too of my car. Man, I like that coupe. As a demonstration that nothing deserves to be worshipped but Allah, and I am not worshiping a coupe. I can go get me another coupe, but I can't go get another brother. Once Umar or Aliyy, that's it. I can't go back. So I want to be a brother to him now before it's too late. I want to be brother to my sister before it's too late. That's not that we ain't gonna have problems, because the Quran example of the prophet to lay it out how you supposed to deal. You go 3 days and you settle that. Now if you have to cut them off, you cut them off. I mean, it's a funny thing. I said, both of us were Imam Jamil Al-Amin. Imam Jamil Al-Amin and I had a disagreement over me remaining with the Dar versus joining him. At the time, the Dar Islam movement was involved with relinquishing their purpose and following this Pakistan. Just telling you what was happening. And Jamil disagreed with me because I had what is called a bay'ah. And a bay'ah is like an oath of fealty, which is just like in the nation that says what? I would rather die than break my word. It's the same thing now. Ain't we talking the same thing? So, Imam and Jamil got mad. How many of you people know who Imam and Jamil is? Some of you don't know who Imam Jamil. Imam Jamil used to be called H. Rap Brown. You know who that is? Yeah, gone. H. Rap Brown, Stokely Carmichael were, they basically came about from a program named SNCC. And Jamil actually became the, I think he became the Secretary Minister of Defense for the Black Panthers. I'm giving you the history now. Here's a young man out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Jamil will fool you because Jamil is about 6'6". Now, he got, he was given a lecture, and most of these are what they would call Malcolm's babies. See, when Malcolm came out with By Any Means Necessary, you had young brothers say, okay, that's the way they took that. By any means necessary. And they loaded up. Okay? See? And Jamil was one of them. So they went through Alabama, Mississippi, basically helping with voting. I mean, Jamil took me to a place in Alabama. They got a street named after him in Tuskegee. Took me to Alabama. We ride down this road, two-way road. You know how it is down south there. You know, you ride. He said, man, we done had so many shootouts on this road where white people pull up their trucks, man, and start blasting. We out here, crack, crack. You know, I mean, it's like, I was saying, what? Then he pulls up in this community, And this looks bare, like nobody's there, right? And it's like a store in front. He said, I'll be right back. He goes in and comes out, and all these people, you wouldn't think all these people was in this place. And you know, of course, they love him. And then he takes me to a community, which is one of the communities of SNCC, where they had a school, they had a bank. I mean, you wouldn't even think of this guy. I'm telling you, there are people that have done work for our people.
That's true.
At the time, they weren't. At the time, he wasn't a Muslim. Let me tell you how the man became Muslim. He became the #1 public enemy in America because they claim that he started a riot in Maryland at a lecture, and a bomb went off or something like that. So Jamil left the country. He spent time overseas with the Congolese guerrillas and some other. Yeah, brother, it was serious. So then, when his mother died, which they think that they killed his mother, so they could entice him to come back to the funeral. He didn't come.
Wow.
So, on his travels, he went to Egypt. And the person that he met that was guiding him was a guy named Abdullah. So Jamil said for the time he was in Egypt for quite a little while, he kept hearing the Adhan, but he didn't know, he didn't know what that meant. But he said he used to pick 5 times a day, these people, going and making prayer. So he decided he wanted to come back to America. So he goes and he gets, get on the plane. Well, on the plane, this woman was on the plane with him, and she had a Time, a Newsweek or something. And this picture's on the front cover. And they want to picture up front. And then 2 FBI was on the plane.
Wow.
So he knew they was going to get him when he got ready to step off the plane. They coming into Canada, right across from Detroit. So he said, he wasn't Muslim, he just did a prayer. He said, oh God, I need some help. I need some help, Lord. And I'm just telling you, now let me say this first. I ask ministers all the time, I said, why is it that when I see these prophets and other holy men, they made prayer, stuff happened just like that? Why? And I go to make dua. It might happen, it might not happen. But this man made a prayer for God to help him. He said the sky was totally clear. All of a sudden, a storm, like a tornado, broke out. The plane could barely land. When they got to the airport, all the lights was out. Everybody was in confusion. He snuck off the plane. Yeah! In the airport, he trying to find an exit. Came up on some brothers from the island. He said, man, my name is H-Rap Brown, man. And I'm like, oh, man, we know you all, brother. Man, help me. I need help. Come on, brother, let's go.
Wow.
Took this man, put him in the car, and drove away. And he said after he got a ways away, the sky cleared up, and everything went back to normal. I said, Jamil, and Jamil, if you know Jamil, you don't talk about it. Then he said, how am I going to cross the border? I ain't got no passport. This man been running, they have a passport. He takes this stick he got, this cane, wraps 2 garbage bags around it, and he gonna float across the Detroit River. Now come on, man. Come on, Jamil. He said, he got out that current, ain't nothing happened. So he decided to forget it. He walked across the bridge, through the security, and landed in America. When he got to America, they caught him in New York. They say he robbed the bank. Never mentioned that, but they caught him in New York. When they caught him in New York, and they shot him so many times, he should have died. He said, Ahmed, I was down. He said, but Allah kept telling me, get up, just stand up. You can't do nothing, but just stand up. Now they had their back to him. When he stood up, and they turned around, they started urinating their pants.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
Went to jail, became Muslim in prison. The rest is history. In terms of him being a Muslim. And then moving to Atlanta and starting a community there. So that's really a brief history of some of the people that have struggled. Stokely Carmichael went to Guinea. Stayed over there and did work over there. So look. Don't get it twisted. The work still needs to be done. Don't get it twisted. So when we start talking about history and who's who and what's going on with our children, like brother here's an educator. Look, man, I always wonder what happened to what's his name, John Kufu.
Yeah.
John Kufu was out of Chicago, Illinois. He had created a system to deal with educating our young boys. Then all of a sudden, he just disappeared. And we back to the same problem. What is happening with our young black men? My daughter, she's 20-something. She said, Dad, Mom, I want y'all to watch this. What's it called? Doc? What's that animated cartoon called? Boom, Doc. Boy, Lord have mercy. She said, I want y'all to watch this, Dad. I said, okay, I'll watch this, Doc. They on there cursing so bad, I thought I was back in Cleveland. 2 boys don't curse. It's a grandfather and 2 boys. They done got inheritance money and moved to the suburbs. One boy want to be a rapper, and the other one is a revolutionary. So, R. Kelly on trial. I'm telling you about this now. This is the image. This is what happened. R. Kelly on trial for urinating on a young girl, and he being tried by a young black attorney, his attorney white. So the young boys say they want to go to trial, so they go to the trial. So they get up in there and show R. Kelly, you know, he did it. But the youngest kid is telling this black lawyer, why you wanna persecute R. Kelly? He one of our best entertainers of all time. If the girl didn't want to get urinated on, like I don't want to get urinated on, I just get out of the way. Which is true. And the girl got on there, she had said, I've been urinated on before, it don't matter. So why you do it? You want to do it? I said, okay. Have we got that low? That's how low we got, hey, bro. Because the sexual idea in America today is so far off the, look, bro, it ain't even on the map. The things that they are doing, the things that they're perpetuating sexually. And you see Snoop Dogg is one of the biggest pornographic producers in America. If not the biggest. Snoop Dogg and Dogg.
That's him. That's him.
And now, here's what I'm talking about, Keith. When Art gets ready to get off, R. Kelly, the lawyer, is preaching on, speaking on his behalf. R. Kelly, he says, man, this is a talented guy. He jumps up on the thing, and he starts doing his thing. Singing, right? They put the jukebox on, this black folk, this us, right? Everybody dance. The judge, everybody. In the courtroom now. This is a courtroom that is supposed to be for justice, freedom, justice, and equality. Huh? And the judge is supposed to be upholding the law based on what? Based on God. But everybody joking. So the young boy who's supposed to be, he kind of like a Malcolm. He stands up, he says, cut that music off. They cut it off. He says, why are you defending this man? He is not an icon like Malcolm or Martin, or he just runs things. And he preaching, right? The little brother jumps up, he says, all right, you finished? Cut the music back on. And they go back to dancing and doing what they're doing. Now, what have I described? I have described the state of black people in America. We're going to dance and entertain our way to hell. We going out backwards in the world. Butt backwards with our pants down. Unfortunately. Allah says in the Quran, he says, everybody has a particular nature, what he calls shakalatahi, meaning you are shackled with a certain disposition as an individual. You are an individual. That is why you have these attributes, and everybody takes on different attributes. I took on the attribute Ahmed, which is a derivative of Muhammad. All I wanted to be is one who is not praised, but one who keeps the praise. Abdul, servant, slave to the Most High God. Aliyy. That's all I wanted to be, is commendable servant of the Most High. Now, what attribute did you take? And if you haven't got one, you need to get one. And if you don't change your name legally, change it in your mind. What do you want to be? Do you want to be loving? Do you want to be subtle? Latifa? I mean, what do you want to be? In your mind, how do you see yourself? They say this is the majority of the problem with most people in the world, most people. They don't know what they want to be, what they want to do. They're confused. So, in closing, get out of here. There's a thing in the Quran, and it speaks about, this verse always gets me, and it's well, let me read the one I just quoted to you, which was 1784. And it says, say, everyone acts according to his own disposition. Everyone has a disposition. But your Lord knows best who it is that is best guided on the way. Footnote, with a disposition. Where's your disposition taking you? Now, this other one, it says, yeah, I said it was loud, I said it myself. They get the head, boy. He ain't say it was loud, they got their shit, man. Said, do you see if the revelation is really from Allah, and yet do you reject it? Or who is more astray than one who is in a schism far from any purpose? Then this is the verse here that I like. Soon will we show them our signs in the furthest regions of the earth. Now, this word that they use for this word in the Quran, it's talking about way beyond what you think you can see in the universe. Okay? Way out there. Because there's stuff out there that even with the telescopes we have now, we still haven't seen. And it talks about also what you can see over the horizon. So it's talking about your vision, how far you can see. And Allah says, we'll show our signs to you in the farthest regions of the earth and in their own souls, until it becomes manifest to them that this is the truth. Is it not enough that your Lord witnesses all things? Now, listen. For many, many years, we had no knowledge of DNA. DNA is now a science. If you watch any of these forensic shows, CSI, etc., I see some stuff on there, I say, oh my gosh, woo, this is really something. People using ultraviolet light. See, the human being can only see certain colors. We can only see certain colors. We don't see ultraviolet. Okay? Ultraviolet is seen, like bees see ultraviolet. That's what they see. Then you have another level where people see, it's another level of light that's seen, but the last and foremost one is gamma ray. Now they say gamma ray is so powerful that if gamma ray was to go through the earth, it will go through the earth as if the earth wasn't even there. So now when Allah tells you in Quran, say, go and look out there, and there's another verse that says, go and look until your sight, what? Till your sight becomes distorted, you can't see no more. Huh? And then when you come back, know that Allah is God. So all I'm telling you is that there are certain levels of sight, just like they talk in the Quran about certain levels of truth. The word they use is haqq. H-A-Q-Q. And really, all of it is reality. The reality and what your reality is. That's haqq. So when we start looking at our own personal reality and what's in our own souls, because first, as Imam Jamil used to say, his quote stand he used to say all the time, he said, you will not conquer outer space until you conquer inner space. It's not going to happen. When you conquer what is on the inside, meaning all that you've been given on the inside, that's what those concepts now, like the brother over here, is talking about the secret, what to believe, and these other things that are coming out. See, there's another side of this thing in the world where you have people in the world who are actually, they're working on what I'm talking to you about. They're working on creating a certain type of consciousness in people where you don't quit talking about we need to end war, we need to stop drugs, we need to stop illness. No, we need to think that there is no illness. We need to think about how it feels to not have no wars. What if you didn't have to worry about being sick? Isn't that a heck of a thing? What if you didn't have to worry about being old? I mean, you might age. Being old is one thing, aging is another. You're going to age, but to be old and accept that you're old, I ain't getting ready to accept it. There ain't no way in the world I can play basketball like I used to. I can't even jump this high. Shoot, I used to get up. And if I lift my leg, I'm like, man, that's a good job. Look at that. But in my mind, I'm not old. I'm not going to accept that. See, it starts there. A renowned thinker went to a guy who was sick in the hospital. The doctor told him he was going to die and that he didn't have a chance, he wasn't going to live long. So he went to the man and said, when that doctor comes back, I want you to first think that it's a miracle. You're going to tell him when he comes back, it's a miracle. You're going to think yourself that you're well. You're going to think that you walked out of here. It's almost like the guy in the movie, right? They walked out of there. When the doctor came back, the guy told the doctor, he said, Doc, it's a miracle. The doctor said, sure it is. I don't understand it. You well. Huh? In this movie, he's talking about the secret. This one guy had a plane crash. He really messed himself bad, didn't he? I mean, he couldn't walk. The only thing he could do was blink his eyes, yes or no. But he said what he did was, he said first he made up his mind that I'm walking out of this hospital on December what? December some date, right? He said a date. He said, I'm walking out of this hospital on this day. And he did not let any negative thing enter his mind from the doctors, the nurses, or anybody else come up and then tell him he ain't gonna walk no more. He said, I wasn't gonna accept it. And all he could do is blink. Yeah. That man walked out that hospital. And he walking today. Because he made up his mind, that's what he's going to do. Now, if we have those examples, and we have Allah, and we have supreme wisdom, do we have supreme wisdom? If we got supreme wisdom, and we got the right God, and we got the right culture, and we got the right and we got the right mindset to transcend, why are we in the state we in? Unless we've been bamboozled. Unless we've been tricked. Unless we are deaf, dumb, and blind. All at once. You feel me, don't you? So again, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for your time. And I hope that all of us, including me, I mean, you know, all of us, because I'll tell you, my ear close to my mouth to you. I'm talking out big. And they know me every time I come down here. I try to be fired up.
Yeah.
I ain't coming in here moping. I ain't trying to make you no Arabic scholar. I ain't trying to make you no Muslim. Because Allah said He make Muslims. That ain't me. But I tell you what, I hope I come in here with a certain spirit that you understand. I remember that brother, that bent knee brother, with the glasses all come in here. And I hope you get something. Because I got something. I appreciate you coming. You understand? Because this is important. This is important for our life. This is important for us to spread this information as human beings. It's important for us to have healthy communities. It's important for us to have healthy families. It's important for us to walk around our communities being able to take care of things that need to be taken care of. Huh? To build communities that people will say, you know, I really want to live there with those people. Oh, them people over there, they Muslim. That don't matter. Them people live right, they good people. I ain't got to be Muslim to live next to them people. They clean, ain't it? Place looks nice, ain't it? I ain't got to worry about nobody pulling no gun on me all around my door. Ain't like New York. You go to one of them neighborhood brownstone boy, them dope boys got 2 dogs on the leashes. Sitting right there, boy. You got to walk across the street.
Yeah. That's right.
Think about 10 guys sitting on the porch and 2 pit bulls locked up on the thing. I saw that, man. I was in New York. I said, man, what in the heck? Only in New York. You don't know how lucky you are.
Yes.
You might be in Jacksonville, but you ain't in New York.
That's the thing.
You might be in Jacksonville, but you ain't in Detroit. You ain't in South Central. It's worse in some places than others. I ain't saying Jacksonville doesn't have problems. Because these young people off the chain. They off the chain. We'll challenge you. They don't care about you being no Muslim. And you spend time, they won't bother with the Muslim. By God, I'm telling you what I know. I ain't telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. I used to come to Jacksonville. We used to go downtown to give people dawah or talk to people about Islam. And them little gangsters come up there, and I had my crew with me. Oh, don't bother with them, bro. Them Muslims. Bother with them. Because the attitude of the Muslim was just like Richard Pryor said. Ain't no Muslim mind dying and taking you with him. Because he figured he going to paradise and you going to hell. That was a certain attitude. Now, if that's the way you want to roll, let's roll out. But that doesn't have to be. And the nation didn't even carry guns. Now, I ain't lying, we carry guns. The nation didn't carry no guns. But they carried a certain attitude and a certain presentation. That brother would feel bad trying to roll up and hurt, but he didn't realize that you're gonna be the one gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Hey, ain't that something? Can't call a fruit. Think about it now. Here we go to this. Think about it. We go to the movie Malcolm. This part always gets me. Malcolm go up. One of the Muslims gets beat up. Malcolm goes up. This is in the 50s. He comes in. I want to see this man. That white man ain't used to nobody talking to him like that. I want to see this man right here you got right here. That's his right. Goes back to see the man, gets him some help. Comes out. Officer tells the captain, man, you need to look at this here. Got these brothers standing up. Back. In suits, lined up, disciplined, looking straight, clean, ain't broke a smile, serious about what they doing. The community is behind them. This is us. This is what we supposed to be. We supposed to be fruit for our community. Whatever your profession is. If you're an educator, you be a fruit. You're a welder, be a fruit. You're an engineer, be a fruit. You take out garbage, be a fruit. Now on the other side, the Prophet Muhammad said a Muslim, a good Muslim is one who anything that they involve themselves in, they seek to be excellent. That's why you said Muslims should have no problem cleaning no trash and be excellent at it. I tell my wife all the time, I clean better than you. I ain't trying to knock the baby. My spirit is I'm clean. I'm gonna compete with my wife. I'm gonna clean better than you. Not that she can't clean. Take it to another level, maybe I might try to cook better than you. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. Be the best you can be. The man goes outside, he see Malcolm, right? Cast turn, go that direction. Now, what problem could he have with that? He was probably in the military. There ain't nothing but some military stuff, but you know what he saw? He ain't like a black man having no power. That's power. When you show power, and you don't have to be arrogant, power. The Prophet Muhammad had what he called power, job. Rastas call it job. There's an Arabic term called job. It's a power, influence, integrity. Huh? Where man, you just stand, you ever been around somebody and it's just standing in their presence, you say, there's something different about this person. There's something special about this person. Huh? I had. And you had to shake, you said, and then you start looking. Huh? What's going on? But see, a lot of folks go to the negative side of it. They start looking, because if you want to find dirt, you'll find dirt. Oh yeah, okay, I see what's happening with him now. Just like they did Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King liked the women, so they say. So they tried to taint him by saying he was a womanizer. He's a womanizer now. Started trying to taint his dream, turn it into a nightmare. You understand? Did you lie to Muhammad? He liked the women. He liked the... What man don't like women? See, like, am I right? What man don't, and what woman don't like me?
That's right.
But here's the problem. Here's the issue. The issue is, see, we've been tricked again. And I'm not propagating polygamy. Don't get on that wrong. I had one wife, 35 years. I ain't gonna say I never thought about it. But I said, man, that's too much of a headache. I don't need that, bro. I don't need that on my dome, because I like to come and do this kind of stuff. I don't need nobody bringing me up. Hey, you gotta bring some over here. Hey, you gotta bring some. One woman, one home.
That's right. That's right.
What my mother say? More women, no price. I got one guy. I man don't need it. I don't know about all the brothers I know that ever practice it, brother. It ends up in the room. Ruin the communities. Because other women say, well, if Umar did it, everybody, because he the man, then everybody else gonna think they got to do it.
Right. That's right.
And so then all the women mad at Umar, including his wife. I thought I told baby, I did everything for you. What you want, what you want. But Allah says, why his name the lack of honor about 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can. The African American and America can't handle no polygamy. America ain't built for no polygamy. Black man. You gonna practice polygamy, you better leave the country. Most brothers I know that practice polygamy, they got wives over there, they stay over there. Because once they drop in this ocean called America, it's like dropping in acid.
Yes, it is.
They become polluted. So then you think you got this so-called, I got brothers, they think, well, my wife is from Morocco. Okay. And then I see her about a year later, she ain't from Morocco no more. She's American. very religious family. Her father's a sheikh. Okay, brother. She know Aliyy, she know this, she know this hadith. She got issue, right? Okay. And wait a little while, wait a little while. She ain't our issue no more. She may bail. That's right. Y'all know I'm talking the truth, right?
Oh yeah. That's right.
Same thing make you laugh, make you cry. See? So when we sit around and the man on marriage, he say, what he say, when you get married, the woman should be how much older? No, half your age plus 7. Half your age plus 7. That's right. Why? Where did he come up with that? Y'all tell me, y'all experts on y'all life, Muhammad. Where did he come up with that science? Man from Sandersonville, Georgia. How he come up with that? And it works. Man marry a younger woman, because most women are more mature than men. They know what they want and where they're going. And they usually get there before the men do. Our young boys are retarded. They bipolar. 5, 2, polar. They over here, they over there. It is interesting that when we look at what we have to us, we have a system in place that is so powerful. But I'll tell you, I have a brother friend of mine, he's in Youngstown, Ohio. He's been a minister up there 15 years or more. Over one of, he's with the Minister Farrakhan. And he's been working. And all of a sudden, some young person comes up and challenges him that he ain't doing this and doing that, etc. And the brother is concerned and he wants to hold on to, doing the work, his position. I said, brother, it's quite simple. I'm going to do the same thing. It's quite simple. Once you are no longer useful in that capacity, move on. Because the prophet said a good person, a good believer, is one who once you've been in a certain capacity and you have done the best you can, you move on to another capacity and you do good in that capacity. Everybody, it reached the point, even I say one particular community in America, it reached the point where everybody want to be an imam. Everybody does not have the temperament to be a leader, a minister, a religious imam. Everybody doesn't have that capacity. Don't have the propensity. But you get people to get in these imam positions, they drag on and drag on and drag on and drag on. And I tell brother, I say, well, brother, I'll tell you this. There's a saying of the prophet that if you as a leader are disliked by the people that you are leading, or you're not doing what you need to be doing, Allah said He'll drag you by your head to head. Now that scared the heck out of me. Leadership is very important. It's a necessary element. Everybody has something to contribute in terms of their own personal leadership. And that's why it's important to begin to think about transitioning where you are. Recognize where you are and be truthful with yourself. I mean, I got the same dilemma you have. Just looking at yourself, being truthful where you are, where you want to be, where you need to be, if it's by the pleasure of Allah. Are you worshiping properly? And it starts from your thinking properly. If you think properly, then you're going to change your life. And you're going to change it for the better. And I would imagine anybody who has come to Islam, or if those who are here who happen to be Christian, whatever approach is the right approach for you. Allah say those who will be successful who seek the proper approach unto God. So whatever your approach is, just be diligent in your approach. Be clear on your approach. And it's just like an airplane. When you go out there to Jacksonville Airport and you get ready to go to New York or some other city, if that plane does not make the proper approach, either ascending, departing, or arriving, where do you think you're going to end up? You're going to end up a part of the cement. So again, anything that I've said that is not good, that's offensive to anybody, please forgive me. I take credit for that and ask Allah to forgive me. But anything that I've said today that is beneficial and good, all the credit belongs to Allah. Salaam alaikum.
The brother's open for questions. If anyone has any questions, you can push your questions to Brother Ahmed now while he's here. Hope you enjoyed the lecture. Pray next Allah that you gain something from it. Anyone has any questions?
You're part of the nation now.
Am I what?
Part of the nation of Islam.
Yeah, I'm part of all nations. No, I'm not directly in the nation. No. You know, answer your
Well, I
question.
understand what you're saying on that level.
My attitude is that I'm upmost and foremost, a Muslim.
Yes, sir.
And I have been involved with labels, and I've lived in the extreme for a long time. So I know what it means to be extreme. And I have, maybe the last 20 years or 20 years or so, have just sought to be more balanced.
One other question. Have you been told you're not a Muslim?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, in not direct, okay? I had an experience with brother. I don't know how many of you know this is, some of you who are Muslim would know, this is a group. Most of them are from Pakistan, and they got this thing they call Tabligh. And it originated in Pakistan. What they do, they go around the mosques, and they grab, convince you to come with them for a certain number of days. Just go out, leave your job or whatever, family, and go out to propagate Islam. Okay? And so this one brother, who I've known for a long time, a group came to Tallahassee, and he decided I wouldn't go out. And he decided he was going to convince me to go out. Had this brother who supposedly knew a lot of Arabic and this, that. So he comes by my house unannounced, and so I come out. When I come out, he said, "Brother, I want you to meet." You know how somebody, when they think they got you, "Brother, I want you to meet." The brother got out the van, and we knew each other. And he broke the protocol. He's like, "Oh man, it's not real." We hugged. We went off talking about all kind of other stuff, And it was just interesting because he said, "Man, if I'd have known they were gonna ask me to come over to the house and talk about Tabligh to you, man, I'd have told them, heck no." You know what I'm saying? I mean, so the point is that I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of seeing those type of attitudes. See, we want to teach and preach to each other.
Yes, sir.
The preaching and teaching really, there's a time for that, but we need more action. We need more action. We need more purpose. We need to be sitting down and making some strategic planning about what we're going to do about certain things. See? And if we don't have the help in here, we need to go outside and grab people who will be sensitive to what it is we want to do to get it done. But we don't do that. We'll sit up because Abdullah is mad at Umar, not this Umar, is mad at Umar or this other brother. Say, "Man, I ain't doing nothing over there." Holding grudges. It's almost like this woman, you understand, she talking about she mad at her father because on her 12th birthday, he didn't pay any attention to her and he didn't give her a certain gift. And at the time she was telling it, she was 80-something years old.
Wow.
Is that what we doing? That we hold grudges and stuff for 20, 30 years, time is passing by, and God has already told you, barely by the token of time man is in lost except those who come together to teach the truth, patience, and constancy. So brother, you ask me, I belong to Allah. And thank God. But I'm willing to do whatever to help and be a part of anything that is positive and constructive, brother. And particularly when it comes to Muslims, because I don't just work with Muslims. So I think that I hear your question, good question, and I think and I don't feel that in you, but a lot of people ask you. I was thinking while I was here, brother, brother, where you go to Juma? Where I go to Juma? Why are you worried about where I go to Juma?
Well, I've been challenging that aspect of life.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a Muslim because I've been to mosque.
Yeah, why you?
And because I read books and I gain knowledge, but I'm not supposed to read different books because they feel I don't believe in Allah. But it's Allah that awakened me to start gaining knowledge and read books and allowed me to go different places. And I enjoy going because I get more out of movement than I do standing still.
Exactly.
But I said that because I've been challenged a lot.
No, I didn't feel negative from you.
No, I'm not trying to do anything. I asked that question because of my experience.
I hear you, and it does happen. You get people to ask you to add all kind of things, and of course, I can't control them. I can't control me. You want to get angry, but there's no need to get angry about it. People have their reasons, but I do try to straighten them out. I mean, the thing of it is that if you think I'm not a Muslim, in my understanding, you think I'm not a Muslim. That's your premise. My understanding is that if I am a Muslim in the eyesight of Allah, then Allah will take every blessing that you got, He's going to give it to me. And He's going to take every ill thing or everything I've done on error and put it on you. Now there's a verse in Quran speaks directly to that. That's why it says, don't tell nobody they're not a Muslim. Don't do that. Because Allah said He made Muslims. You don't know what's in that person's heart. Now you may see somebody do something from the outside, but it may be a totally wrong interpretation. It's like a man gets on the train, catch a subway train with his children. Children get on the subway train, they running around, acting out, unbehaved, etc. One guy said, man, this guy's really disturbing the peace on this train. These people need irritated. I need to go talk with him. He goes talk with the man. He says, sir, the children are really being disrupted. You need to do something. He says, yeah, I know. But my wife, we just left the hospital. My wife just died. I don't know how to tell her. Do you think that changed their perspective? Sir, how can we help you? That just flip-flopped that thing, didn't it? That was a serious shift. So you don't know what somebody's, like I said, I go out there and pray right now, you see, man, he must have just started making salat. Well, how long you know how to make salat? Or think I ain't Muslim? Brother, I'm telling you, we go through it. You think, you say, why would you ask me? But these brothers have a certain thing in their head until we straighten them. Right? I went to a clothing store. Another example, close out. A friend of mine and I, on lunch break. Palestinian, Lebanese, whichever one they were. So he gonna try to hard sell me. Man, I used to be a merchant. He gonna try to hard sell me, right? Brother, trying to talk. That's why I ain't going next door. I ain't going. I said, I don't want that. So I said, where are you from, brother? No, he asked me where I'm from. I said, I'm from Africa. I'm from Africa. You ain't from no Africa. I said, where are you from? So I'm from Palestine. I said, well, you're not the original Palestinian. You ain't from Palestine. So then, they get very close to you when they talk. It's not offensive, that's just how they talk to each other. Our comfort zone is like right here. Because if we get up on each other, we get ready to fight. Yeah. So if we get ready to fight, I'm ready to pull my pistol, whatever, but their thing is they get up close, so they're very personal with that. So we talk. So I say, are you Muslim? Yes. I said, Salaam alaikum. Then I dropped this verse on him in Arabic, but I'm not going to tell you what I said. I said, O ye who believe, verily it is hateful in the eyesight of Allah that you say what you do not do. He almost fell on the floor. Here's a black man. First, now he's Muslim. Now he's speaking Arabic. He's speaking from the Quran. What can I say? And he's bigger than me. Next thing you know, he said, oh brother, you Muslim, oh brother, come on, I give you special deal because you know, and then I really busted. Black folk was in the store, I said, you supposed to treat me right because I'm a human being. You supposed to treat them right because they're human being. Now I'm Muslim, so you want to treat me right. You wrong again. So then he said, you got me, bro, you got me. Next thing I know, he went and got his mother, brought his daddy out. Daddy was trying to get Social Security, couldn't speak very much English. English, spoke to the man in Arabic a little bit, you know, whatever. Next thing you know, they said, brother Ahmed, come, please come work for us. Man, I ain't getting ready to die. I'm not working for you. You know, but every time we want to talk with you. And then here's the kicker. We love Minister Farrakhan. When I went to Africa, I went to Liberian refugee camp. Young Muslim refugees. They had a little makeshift mosque. They said, brother, I'm Muslim, but my parents never taught us how to be Muslim. They prayed, they fasted, but we really don't know how to be Muslim in the sense that we want to go back and lead our country. This is Liberia. Brother, please come and help us. Teach us how to be Muslim. In an effective way is what they were saying. They was crying. These are young boys. So we're not the only ones. People want things to happen. You come to Islam. Why did you come to Islam if you're Muslim? You came to see things change or happen, didn't you? You came to see a change in yourself. So, brother, I understand exactly what you said. So that's what I tell them. I said, man, you know, if you want to give me your blessings, give it to them. I take all of them. I need everything I get.
Thank you.
You didn't know earlier about the people saying the Muslims are violent. You were saying the Christians are violent as well. But in light of today's society, the media showing how the terrorists just said Muslims and blowing everybody up and sacrificing themselves. I haven't heard of any local or even any national imams or anyone coming out speaking out against that, which these people believe that all Muslims are on the side of people that will sacrifice themselves in the manner that the ones that did for the airplanes, the ones that did over in Israel right now, other places that they show across the world. Why is that? Am I missing out on that, or is no one speaking out about that?
The brother who's the head of the Malik Shabazz Mosque in New York, who is, I think he's actually a fireman. Can't think of his name. He has a lot of clout in New York and spoke out against that. As a matter of fact, he was the one that actually made the prayer when they had a prayer service in Yankee Stadium. Can't think of the brother's name. I can get back to it. And he spoke out. There have been quite a few brothers. There's been quite a few brothers that spoke out about that because, you know, first of all, with terrorism, there are a lot of the people who are terrorists, especially Lebanese, they're not Muslim. They're Christian. It's a mix between the Christians and Muslims. These people are fighting for their land. There's a debate whether, what's his name is Muslim. I think, you know, I heard he's Muslim, I heard he's Christian. Yasser Arafat. I mean, these people are oppressed. The media takes and builds up a case because they want to build a case up on Muslims. You know, people don't want to build a case of the fact that all the Saud family were escorted out of America at the time that 9/11 took place, because the Bushes are they're in business with the Saud. Well, not Saud, what you call it?
Osama family.
Yeah, they're in cahoots with him. The same as they did those billions of dollars that they gave to Saddam Hussein to fight the Iraqi and Iranian war. There's a lot of things that we don't know that are kept from us. You know, and I tell you, I mean, I travel just slightly, But I mean, ain't no other place right now at this point I want to live other than America. This is where my family is. You know, I love America just like anybody. All the blood we done shed in America. You think you're gonna kick me up out of America?
Amen.
But what I'm saying is that I also do not want to disregard the fact that I have a connection to Africa. And I think that we need to think more globally in our perspective, particularly economically. Let me share something with you. You have any question you asked, I'm gonna add something to this. There's an article in the New York Times last Sunday where the Chinese had brokered a deal with the NBA Players Association and the NBA that they want black players, that first of all, the NBA brokered a deal where LeBron James will be the ambassador for the United States to China. LeBron James is the second largest in China next to Yao Ming. It's Yao Ming and LeBron James. A young black man who's only about 22 years old. In China, which is 8 million people. Now, 800 million, excuse me. Now, when the Chinese, they asked them why they brokered this deal, they said they understand that the fundamentals of the game in terms of the way blacks play, we have more pizzazz, and this whole issue now for those who watch basketball sports, that we don't have the fundamentals down anymore. But they said they're not concerned about that. What they want is the culture, they want the psychology, and they want the pizzazz of the black player in China. Because in their collegiate system, the students there are so serious that they need to inject some sports and a little relaxation for them, and so they're going to use basketball. So they need something to be entertaining to relax them. You see this thing here? We are a commodity around the world. If you don't think Chinese is listening to rap, you are out your mind.
They be trying to rap.
Trying. Look here, man. If you have ever watched this whole issue with karaoke, which basically, well, to me, three: Korean, Vietnamese, Japanese, Chinese can imitate us to a T.
Yes. Yes.
They are people of culture, of color. Why not? So, you know, the terrorist thing, brother, there have been people who have spoken about it, and maybe not enough. Maybe if that's the case here in Jacksonville, maybe again, like I said, somebody needs to get on somebody's airwaves and start speaking on it after you get educated on it. You know, where are our radio programs? Y'all got a Muslim radio program in Jacksonville? You got a program that would allow Muslims to get on there and express their political position in Jacksonville? You got a sign out here that says stop the killings. Have you got on the radio or TV and start talking about what your concept is about what is stop the killing? Okay. I'm just telling you. I mean, ain't nobody, I mean, we're here in the mosque, but if we don't get out and spread what we got, who gonna know it? I mean, when you really think about it, even with all the Muslims in this room, you could have a radio program, a 30-minute program, put some money up, and have a 30-minute program on the air dealing with certain issues. People listen. We had a radio program a while back, and we really were one of the first to start talking about the fact that prisoners weren't able to vote after they got out. You know, now people, you know, they take it up. You know, it's like, you know, we need to get out in any way we can to express and share and you know, everybody else does. You know, they put their idea on out there. Look, that guy, what's his name, Cooper on TV. Y'all ever watch his show?
Yeah.
Anderson Cooper.
Anderson Cooper. I don't watch him that much, but I did see this one where this past week he was talking about the whole thing on Darfur here. And man, the way he had that thing laid out, it's like a table. You know, the African guy
guy was sitting on the table, and they had Africa laid out on the table. And then he could change different positions. So he talked about this guy in the Congo who was a warlord, looked like Imam Jamil, the young Imam Jamil. Look, man, we, this whole thing, we have to recognize we live in a global community. And it's a powerful community, and you have a lot of people who are going through some of the same things you're going through and have approached it, attacked it, and resolved it. So it's not like reinventing the wheel. It's just a matter of deciding that that's the way you want to deal with it, or for your particular situation to resolve it. You know, like here we are in Florida. And Florida got some of the worst schools in the country. We like 44, 49th or something. You know, you turn around and you get a Bush. You get him, he has ruined Florida. I tell you what, when it all comes down to it, when they really reevaluate what this man has done to Florida, they're gonna wish they'd have choked him and ran him out of town. I'm telling you, he did some stuff here, man. All in the name of promoting business. That's what he said when he came in. And I know someone, I have a friend that actually was his roommate at Princeton. Knows him well. And nothing bad. He's probably the one here in Florida. They say he's better than his brother. But it's really very serious, as we know. Very serious. So we got to change the way we think and the way we move and what we do. We got to. It's got to be a cadre, a vanguard of people that do enjoy what is good and forbid what is wrong. And not get caught up so much in the religious sense, but just in terms of looking at how it's affecting our community. Everybody else does it. The Chinese don't come over here, man, and get on welfare. You ever seen one? Have you ever seen one? Have you ever seen a Korean on welfare? I have never seen one. Tell me now. I don't go down to welfare line. They come here, the Cameroonians, in Cameroon, these people develop their own economic system. They borrow money from each other. They have their own internal banking system. That's why they can never put no banks in Cameroon. No bank. Because we're together as a family, right? We put our money together, and whatever he wants to do, we support that. If he goes out and wants to buy a hotel, we give him the money. But in the meantime, he's still paying into the system. And then once he pays back, if he don't pay back, some of these people, they'll kill him. Or he'll degrade his family, so there's a certain sense of trust. There has to be trust. And there's an author, his name is Fukuyama, and he's out of this brain trust out of Stanford, that wrote on the issue of why African Americans, he's an economist, why African Americans are having such problems than other people. And he said the biggest issue is the trust. We let trust leave our culture. So you got no trust, you can't develop nothing. Let me tell you something, man. My best friend's a banker. He actually a loan banker. And he had these, one of his clients, these guys, they were from, I don't know whether they were from Saudi Arabia or whatever, but they had a restaurant business. And they had been in a restaurant business for 10 years. They folded and took the money and went into development. So they went down to North Carolina and had him with him because they had some property and some stuff they wanted him to look at so he could help them get some money. So he says they riding in the car. They pass by a dealership, a car dealership, but they see all of these trucks, dump trucks. You ever pass by a dealership, you see a bunch of dump trucks? Then that lets you know there's some development going on. Because they let you know up front, that's priority. He said, oh, look at that, see? So we in the right place. He says when you ride with them, they don't be talking about, ooh, man, look at that honey there. Ooh, wee. Girls, this, that. Straight up business. Talk about how they can, what they gonna do. Look at that land. Look at this. Let's develop that. So on. What we be talking about. So you got people in the world, that's why people in the world, when they come here, they have such a bad impression of black Americans. Man. They get off the plane and don't like you. You know, like they said T.D. Jakes, article I was reading on T.D. Jakes, he gets in a cab, African driving the cab. African says something to him and they get to talking and he says, man, T.D. Jakes asked him, man, why y'all so arrogant towards us? I don't like when y'all talk to us. And so he said, they start talking. The African tells him, he says, look at me. He said, we just act the way you would act if you would stay in contact with your country. I seen a nasty Africans, but I'm saying overall, he's talking about an attitude, that they have a certain attitude. They like aggressive, they like confident, aggressive leadership. You can't come over there with that Sufi stuff with them. When I say, you know what I'm talking about? I'm too that's not too shit. Cut your shit. They do not play that. They are aggressive. They are aggressive. Everything over there is aggressive. The bee is aggressive. The ant is aggressive. They got ant hills in Africa taller than this daggone ceiling. It'd be about a billion of them in there, man. And I asked the guy, I said, man, how in there? It'd be fields of them. You'd be like, man, how the heck? That can't build that, man. It'd be like Tony be wider than this. And they built that thing up, man, they built that. He said, man, don't go up in there. Billions of them up in there roll on you. What you talking about? People don't play that, man. So, you know, I had a guy, like Umar sells stuff out there, they had a bazaar. I'm going through the bazaar looking. You know how we shop. Now, I gotta tell you, when you're in Africa, don't look at people straight in the eye. Because they'll think that you basically have made the deal. You looking, I'm looking, I'm trying to be conscious of that. I'm looking, trying not to look the guy in the eye. He talking, that brother, I didn't say that. I said, well, I'll come back. He followed me all the way down the block. And he gonna get aggressive with me. I said, well, this cat is, boy, he just ain't never seen an African American, right? So that Cleveland came out of me. I mean, you gonna get the heck away from me. What's wrong with you? You know, they respect that when nobody did it. But I'm just telling you, that's a part of understanding our culture and our limits and who we are, man. I'm telling you, we gotta get aggressive. We gotta get aggressive. And we gotta stop majoring in the mind. And accepting stuff that just is not going to benefit us at all. And that's one of the hardest things, one of the hardest things for us, let me turn it off. One of the hardest things for us to deal with, and that is being able to tell somebody, I'm not going to take that foolishness from you. You understand? You know, I remember one time I came down here with Umar's mosque over on Monroe Street, bro. Came over and told Umar, well, you know, he don't speak Arabic well enough, and he should be the imam. And Umar taking the fruit and cart that Negro to the door. Astaghfirullah, brother, this is Allah's mosque. Yes, and he has given me permission to protect it from the likes of you. Ow! You can pray on the block. You can pray anywhere you want to pray. Well, I say the whole earth is a mosque.
Because we don't speak somebody else's language tomorrow.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
My name is Abu Bakr Siddiq. Each and everyone walk out of here with a telephone number and the name of each and every brother and sister, knowing what we do and what we want to do. Let us make that a priority for today.
That's right.
That is the only
That's
one.
right. That's a
So
great.
I'm going to give with the permission of Imam a piece of paper out to everyone so we can know who we are, what we do, and what we want.
That's a great idea, bro. Great idea. Great idea. Any other questions? Well, I know it's been long. I mean, you know, you get in these things and you want to say enough, not too much. but I just hope it's beneficial. And I hope that next time I can come back and listen to somebody, talk a little bit, but I like to listen to it. And but really, I appreciate it. Thank you all very much for your time. Awesome.
Brothers and sisters, I hope y'all enjoyed the lecture from the brother, and wanted to pray next a lot in the future. We invite Brother Ahmed to come down, and if you're in the area, he's in Tallahassee. I'm sure he'll give you his telephone number. You can visit him. Just want to make a brief announcement. The brother told me the other day that Dr. Imam, who we know quite well, will be here June 16th at Water College. Okay, and wanted to. I'm hoping that we can go there and spread some doubt, and come up with some type of doubt material that the people can connect with and go there for the area. Now, the police officer that invited him to come in, he came up front in the shop, and what I did, he asked me, said, well, what we need to do to really reach the youth. I told him about Chuck D, and I say, now if you're talking about reaching the masses of the youth, I say he's conscious and he'll drop it. I say, but you need to try to. I don't have the contact with him, which I had from his website, but I say Dr. Naim Akbar would be good. Eric Dyson would be good, and also I mentioned Brother Akbar Muhammad, who we looking at to try to bring in. People like that. And
Anybody, especially young people. Y'all know T-Pain?
Yeah, you know it.
Is he in the back? T-Pain is a Muslim.
Oh, yeah?
His father and I were in business together. I watched him grow up to go born. He just made it. And he's trying to give back, to the community. Because you gotta have a hook to hook the kids in.
that's right, bro.
You know what I'm saying? That might be something for Jacksonville to look at in terms of